Good afternoon and welcome to everyone who has joined us today for this online engagement session. My name is Wesley Ford and I'm a Community Services Officer at Newport City Homes. I'll be leading today's session and keeping everything on track. Before we begin, to make you all aware, this session is being recorded. The recording will be made available on our website for residents who aren't able to attend today. You will also receive a copy of the recording after today's session in case you'd like to go back and check any of the information that you hear today. Before we make a start, can I please ask that you do not place any personal information into the chat box, such as your address, contact details, and names, etc. This is purely for data protection purposes. As many of you will know, in February, we held our very first online engagement sessions for you to come and talk to us about our work in Blaen-y-Pant Crescent. In these sessions, we told you that we're looking at 3 options. This is something that we're going to look at in more detail today. We expect the session to last for the full hour. We'll answer as many questions as we can and collate the Q&As we've had for circulation. In this session, it's really important that everyone has the opportunity to share their views and provide feedback. Please be aware that some people may have different opinions to you, and we want to hear from as many of you as possible to share your views. In line with our community guidelines, please be respectful and use appropriate language, as this can be seen by other residents who may be here today or viewing from home. Normally, we would want to be out and about in the local community so you can speak to us face to face, but unfortunately at the moment this is not possible because of COVID. So we've been trialing a new approach with these online sessions. We're asking that everyone keeps themselves on mute whilst we present the information to you. We really want to hear your views today. We're asking that you do this either by using the chat box or using the raise your hand section that is available in the reactions box. We'll invite you to unmute yourself and ask you to then ask your question or voice your query directly to the project team. So I'd like to introduce you to members of the project team who will be talking to you today. Firstly, we have Rachel.
Hello everyone, I'm Rachel George. I'm generation at Newport City Homes.
Thanks very much, Rachel. And next up we have Clea.
Hi, I'm Clea Morris. I'm a Development Officer with Newport City Homes.
Thanks very much for that, Clea. Next up we have Simon.
Hi there, I'm Simon Bumstead. I'm an architect with CLTH Architecture, and we've been appointed by Newport City Homes to take a look at your site.
Thanks very much, Simon. There are also other members of the project team that are here today. They're here to listen to your feedback and help answer any of the questions which may come up later on in the session. During today's session, our aims are to update you on the survey work we've been carrying out, share the views we've had from you about your home and your local area, talk through the options we have developed, ask you for your views, and answer any questions you have about our work. If you have any questions which aren't answered today, we'll also be sharing a feedback survey after the session, along with our contact details for you to contact us directly. The session is focused on the work that we've been carrying out in your area the past few months, and we really want this to be an interactive session. If you have any questions about Newport City Homes that aren't a part of this particular project, like questions about repairs specific to your property, we'll share ways in which you can get in touch with us at the end of the session. I'm now going to hand over to Rachel.
Thank you very much, Wes. Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you very much for watching this recording and being part of this session. The reason that we've been looking at your homes is that as Newport City Homes, we are committed to providing high quality homes for our residents now and in the future. Your block at Blaen-y-Pant Crescent is an easy form construction type, which we think may need investment and work in the future. As well as the overall quality of our homes, one of the key considerations for us to look at is the Welsh Government targets to meet zero carbon for homes. We sent out newsletters to you in advance so that you have information already about what we've done and the options we're looking at. This means that you'll have seen for your area, we are not proposing a regeneration option. This is because, having looked at the survey results and views that we've had from residents about your homes and community, we do not feel that a demolition and new homes approach would be appropriate for you. Simon will talk in more detail about this and the options that we have looked at. For now, I'll hand you over to my colleague Leah.
Thanks, Rachel. So, as we previously mentioned, we've carried out different types of surveys to understand the issues in your block and to help develop our options. The newsletter received includes the type of surveys that we carried out in your area. Based on the survey information received, we identified that some key issues, which are as follows. The roofs are deteriorating and would benefit from some repair works. Some cracking has been identified in the internal and external walls of the blocks. Damp has been identified in several properties, so we've commissioned further damp surveys to understand where this is coming from. The current energy ratings for the block and flats are either APC, C or D, which means that the thermal performance is mid to low. Therefore, the homes may need a lot of heating. Since the online engagement sessions back in February, you made us aware that there are mixed feelings about your homes and the local area. 65% of you told us that you're either very or extremely satisfied with your home, with 13% of you not being satisfied with your home at all. The main dislikes include the quality of your windows and doors, gardens being too big to maintain, parking and litter. Thank you, and over to Simon from CLTH Architects.
Thanks very much, Claire. Thank you, to echo Rachel's point, thank you very much for tuning into this recording. The more feedback we get from yourselves, the better. As Rachel said, we're at a very early stage, and this is just an initial view to look at some high-level options for your homes. If I could get the next slide, please. So this is an aerial view that we've done of your homes, and it's looking from the south to the north, with the main road over towards the top right of the image and the canal wrapping around the south. It's worth just orientating around this drawing, as we'll keep coming back to this drawing throughout the various options. So could you get the next slide, please? So as I mentioned at the top, we've been asked to look at 3 options for your homes. First being take no action, the second being refurbishment, and the third being rebuild. However, as Rachel said, based on the feedback that we've got, we don't feel that rebuild is a genuine option on your site. Next slide, please. So the first option, take no action. This would involve making good existing buildings, such as improving the existing roofs and fixing the cracks in the walls. In this situation, we would not carry out any additional work outside of your normal planned maintenance schedule. So just to let you know, the buildings that we are looking at are these 11 easy form blocks, which comprise of 44 homes, and they're the blocks which are surrounded by a red line on the drawing, which wraps around Blaen-y-Pant Crescent there. Get the next slide, please. This is a drawing through your home. So it's an existing section through the home, and it's highlighting the environmental issues that are existing in the home, and the arrows represent passages of heat from the inside to the outside and the outside to the inside. As Claire mentioned, there are some issues which are making the existing homes achieve EPC C or D, and we want to increase that, and we want to be able to keep the amount of heat that you're generating in your home within the home, and stop these heat transfers, which are the big red to blue arrows going from from inside to outside. Next slide, please. So here are some existing elevations looking at all 4 sides of your easy form blocks. The top left is the view from the street, with the 2 upstairs flat entrance, and the 2 side elevations are on the right hand side, which are the ground floor flat entrances. Worth pausing at this stage to just hand over to Wes for a second, who'll let you know how to get in touch if you do have any feedback.
Thanks a lot, Simon. Some really, really good information there that hopefully is very useful for residents and leaseholders. So please, as I'd encourage you, if you can get involved, please give us your thoughts on this. If you have any questions and you would like to provide any feedback at all, we'll be sharing contact information shortly, a little further down the line into the presentation, and ways you can get in contact with to share your views and ask your questions to the project team. So back over to Simon.
Thanks, Wes. So on the next slide, we've had some initial ideas of how we might be able to refurbish your home to increase that EPC rating and be able to meet the net zero target that's come down from Welsh Government. In doing this, this also presents the opportunity to change or alter the aesthetics of your home. And we're really keen to get your feedback on any of these options. So if I just run you through some of these points, as Claire mentioned in the intro, in the first session, some of you fed back that you weren't happy with the quality of your windows and doors. We could look to replace these windows with high performance triple glazing, and this would also increase the thermal performance of your home. We could look to re-roof your home. And we'll come on to some options of material choices for that. We could add external insulation, and that's going to be really important to prevent excess heat from escaping through your walls. And we could replace entrance canopies above the main doors with a pitched canopy. And again, we'd be really interested to hear your feedback when we come on to those options. Next slide, please. So we've also looked at your home in plan. And as you know, your easy form types are split into 2 ground floor flats and 2 first floor flats. And if we flick onto the next next slide. One issue that we have identified and we'd be really interested to hear your feedback on is, how do you feel your bathrooms are working currently? So as we know, your bathrooms are currently split between a toilet and a bath, but by removing that internal wall, there may be enough space to add a shower into that space and combine into one larger washroom. Next slide, please. And then coming back to that section that we looked at a second ago, by wrapping the outside of the building in a thick jumper, essentially, of insulation, we could retain more heat within the flat that you're generating. So that's highlighted with the green line, which wraps around the existing attic space and external wall line. So the external wall line would be coming out slightly to allow for room to add insulation and a new external finish on the outside. We could also look at adding photovoltaics or solar panels on the roof to generate electricity on site. Replace the external windows, as I mentioned a little earlier, with triple glazing, and add in mechanical ventilation, which could recover the heat whilst removing excess moisture from inside your flats. Next slide, please. And so we've had a look. These are the plans for refurbishment. This is the ground floor plan, and this is one idea of what the ground floor bathroom could look like if it was refurbished, taking out that dividing wall between the toilet and the bath and wrapping the whole of the outside of the easy form block in a layer of insulation to push out the external walls slightly. Next slide, please. And then this is coming back to the existing elevations, and if we flick onto the next slide, this is one idea of a potential option to refurbish your flats. So as you can see on these images, we're looking at the street side again and the garden side. By replacing the windows, it may offer the opportunity to think about their placement so that they can frame views of trees or local landmark or the local street in a better way. Looking at re-roofing, one option we're considering at the moment is metal zinc roof, but would be very interested to hear your feedback on that. And we're also proposing having window planters at ground floor level that are accessed from inside your flat, that sit on the windowsill, and you can keep flowers next to your windows. But again, all of these are very early stage, and any feedback would be really greatly received because they're feed into how we think about the alterations to your flats and what options are available. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned at the top, coming back to this aerial view looking over your community, We aren't proposing a huge amount of alterations with this refurbishment block because the survey information is positive about your homes and their condition, and we feel that the environmental targets can be achieved with minor alterations. But looking down onto the rooftops there, you can see the alterations of solar panels, an updated look to the outside of your building, and alterations to window placements if your eyesight's very good. Then lastly, as I mentioned, we did consider a demolition and rebuild option as part of our options appraisal. However, as I mentioned, as a team, we didn't feel like this was appropriate for your community. But if you do have any feedback, or you do have any comments on anything presented today, I'm sure Wes will get in. We'll take over shortly to let you know how to get in touch. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Simon. So I'm just going to hand over to Rachel now to talk to us a little bit further on the refurbishment option. So Rachel, over to you.
Thank you, Wes, and thank you very much, Simon. So just to talk a bit about the potential impact on residents of option 2, the refurbishment option. The impact on residents would depend on the exact works that were carried out. Most of the works are external, so we would try to make sure that you could stay in your own homes while any work was carried out. We would need to discuss that with you and review it if and when we went through the process of looking at these works. In terms of the impact on leaseholders, we wouldn't normally include leaseholders in refurbishment works. It may be that if you wanted to opt in and pay for works that we were carrying out to the rest of our homes, that you'd be able to opt into that. There would be other works that we would need to talk to you about if we were carrying them out, such as repairs to or works to the roof, or the external cladding that Simon was talking about. So we would need to talk to you leaseholders about those works if we were going to take them forward. Back over to you then, Wes.
Thanks very much, Rachel. And again, some really useful information there as well from you both, Simon included. So yeah, we'd really like to hear your thoughts on option 2. If you'd like to ask any questions to the project team, or you'd like to provide any feedback, we'll be sharing contact information for you shortly in ways that you can make contact with members of the project team. If you're not comfortable using the telephone, there's also an email option. So whichever way suits you best, there'll be plenty of ways that you'll be able to share your views and ask your questions. So I'm now going to hand back over to Simon, who's going to take us through option 3, I believe.
We quickly touched on the rebuild option at the start there, and I think we don't feel as a team that it's an appropriate solution to this site.
Thanks very much, Simon. So I'm now going to hand over to Rachel, who's going to take us through the next steps.
Thank you, Wes. Okay, so in terms of next steps, we're obviously holding this session today, which will become a recording for you to watch in the future. We are asking for you to please fill out the survey that we've sent around. This is either through the newsletter or online. And if you could please get back to us onto the survey by the end of this Friday, the 2nd of July. After that, we'll be collating the information that we've got for the options appraisals and feedback, and that will be going forward to our board for their review and consideration of the options. Now, that will happen in late July, and so we'll be looking to come back to you in August or September with an update on any next steps. Back to you, Wes.
Thanks very much, Rachel. So we're coming to the stage now where we had a set time in order to answer questions for those who would have been in attendance. So for those of you who are watching at home, if you'd like to ask your questions, I really do encourage you to get involved. Please provide your feedback, ask as many questions as you can. And we've got a great team here that are really willing to answer it as best as they can. So I really do encourage you to please get involved and ask as many questions as you can and provide as much feedback as we can. Your views do matter. We're taking this very seriously, and we want to make sure that the that at the end of the day that the right decision is made. So please do get in touch with us. You know, we're going to be sharing ways of contact very, very shortly, which will come on the screen. And please do get as much feedback as possible to us by July the 2nd, as this is the cut-off date for the survey results. So if you have received a paperless format of the survey, please try and get that back to us as soon as you can. We'd be really grateful for that, and we want to make sure that everyone's voice is heard. So we're on to the next stage now. We're coming to the end of today's session. So I just want to share some final information with you before we finish. We really hope that you found this session helpful to understand the work that we're carrying out. Thank you for taking the time to give us your feedback on your home and the local area. As we discussed earlier, we will share this information with the Newport City Homes Board when they consider how we should proceed with work in your area. The recording of today's session will be available on our website in the next few days if you'd like to go back and listen again, and you should also receive a copy via email shortly. In the meantime, if you'd like to get in touch with us, please use the contact details listed in your leaflet and noted on the screen. Also, these are the same contact details that I would encourage you to contact if you do have any questions in relation to any of the options that were on the screen today, and also if you do have any feedback that you would like to provide. So the contact details are as follows. My name is Wesley Ford and I'm a Community Services Officer at Newport City Homes. My contact number is 01633 227 614. Also, my colleague Kelsey Cantello, she's also Community Services Officer at Newport City Homes. Contact number 01633 227 637. Alternatively, if you'd like to contact us via email, this is also available. You can contact us at community@newportcityhomes.com, or lowercase. That is community@newportcityhomes.co.com. That's it from us this session. Thanks again for giving up your valuable time to join us. We really appreciate your feedback. We look forward to speaking with you again soon when we will have more updates. Again, thank you for your valuable time. Take care and stay safe.